Okay, this will be the final part of this specific task. In the final part, we are on step 5, record a macro that prints the check, and we will use a loop to print 6 checks at the same time. Okay, so the fifth part is pretty simple. We don't have to do anything special. We just need to turn on the macro recording and then print the check and stop macro recording. So that is it. So let's do this. I'm going to start the process at value of 1. Okay, since this is an absolute macro, I do not need to be worried about where the cursor is, but still I'm making the employee number cell as the active cell. So I will not worry whether the use relative reference is on or off because it is an absolute macro. Let's go to record the macro and give some useful name to this macro. Print one check. Since I'm printing just one check, I'm giving it a name like this, print one check, and I do not like to give some shortcut to it, so I'm leaving this shortcut button empty. Okay, now the macro recording is on, and let's go to file, print. We are printing the check from here, and since there is no printer attached to this computer, the default is to Microsoft Print to PDF. If you cannot see this specific option, you can select the printer, and from these different options available, you can choose any one. Specifically, I think Microsoft XPS document writer will be available on all computers. I'm not changing any specific option in here. I'm leaving this as it is because this specific printing process will send the file to a PDF file. If the actual printer is attached to the computer, one of the printer will be here, one of the icon will be here, the actual printer, and you'll select that. So I'm not changing anything. I'm clicking outside this specific option, and the default option of Microsoft Print to PDF is selected. I'm going to print page 1 up to 1. So that's it, and I click on print. It will, since I'm writing to a file, it will ask for file name. So let's give it some name. If the actual printer is attached to the computer, it will not ask for file name. It will just send the page to the printer and it will be printed out. Since printer is not available and I'm writing to a file, the file needs a name. So I'm giving it some name, print1, and save. So now the page has been printed, and that's all we wanted from this macro recording. So I'm stopping the recording. And now let's combine both the codes of adding one and the print code to the add one macro. So how can we do that? What I mean by that, I mean by that we will combine the codes. Let me type this thing so that you understand it clearly. Combine the code of add one macro and the print check 1 or print 1 check. I think it was print 1 check. We shall combine both the macros in one place. So when we click this button, it will not only change this number, but it will also print the check. So how can we do that? Let's go to macros, and we had already add one macro. The new macro that we recorded was print 1 check. So let's edit, and you can see this code has been added to module 4. Don't worry about that. The actual code that prints the specific area is this. If you want to read it, it says active window, select sheet, and then print out. And this was the page number from 1 to 1. We need just one copy, and ignore print area false because we have set the print area. So it says that it will not ignore the print area. So don't worry about the code, just copy it. We are copying the code, and we are going to module 2 where the add one macro is there. Now the sequence of code matters a lot. If we put the code at this point, the macro will first change the value by 1 and then print it out. And if I click enter and copy and paste the code here, it will first print the existing screen and then change the value of 1 so that we have the next check ready. So I think it makes more sense because we'll start with check 1, typing 1. It will print the existing sheet and then it will change the value. So we don't have to do anything other than that. Let me repeat the process. From module 4, we copied the code, and then in the module 2 we just pasted the code before adding 1 to the existing cell value. So I close it. Now what do you expect? If I click on this, it will print the existing sheet. It will print this area, and then it will add 1 to this specific cell. So let's check it out. Since printing is done to the file, it will ask for file name. So click, and you see it is asking for file name. Let me call it P2 and save it, and you see that the value has now changed to 2, and similarly we have a new check ready for printing. So if I click on print, let's call it P3, and now we have a new check ready, that is Akhtar Saeed Khan. And mind you that we are writing to a file, so each time we need to write the file name. If printer is attached, we will not have to type the file name. So that is the point that you should keep in mind. As a last step, we shall create a loop to print 6 checks in one go. So if I click on a button, it will print not just the current check, it will also print the next 5 checks. So we shall do that in the next video. So please have practice on this, and we shall come back. Thank you.